This video is brought to you by WPForms. WPForms is the most beginner-friendly drag-and-drop WordPress forms plugin on the market. Just click on the link in the description below to get started. The first 200 people to use coupon code WPBVIP will get 50% off WPForms. Does your to-do list look like this? Where you have everything set up for your website, but you don't have the membership part set up? Okay, grab your favorite beverage. Mine's water. Go ahead and turn off all notifications, come back here, and let's get that set up. I'm going to walk you through how to set up your membership site. And I'm going to do this from the start to finish, creating your website, deciding on a domain, and then installing your membership site. But if you've been following along in the series and you already have your website set up, then go ahead and take a look at the description below, because I'll have timestamps set up to send you exactly to where you need to go, where you can just start with the installing your membership site. So let's take a look. This is what we'll be doing. Many of you, if you've been following along, you've already done a lot of this, but we'll be setting up our hosting. We'll get a domain name. We're going to install and set up WordPress. And then the bulk of the video will be about installing MemberPress. MemberPress is an absolute great plugin that sets up membership sites. And they've thought about practically everything that you can think of in doing a membership site. And then we'll also go through the membership area and setting everything up. So with all of that, let's get started. When you're building a website, it's very similar to what's happening when you build a house. You have the land that you need to use to put the house on. That's the same as the hosting provider. The hosting provider has servers that all of your files and folders will go on. Next, you have an address, and that's so people know where to find you. And the address is your domain name or your web address. You want to start building your website, and your website is your home. That's what houses all of your files, all of your images, the color structure, the way that it looks, the functionality of it via the plugins. Finally, you have your mailbox, which is your email address, and that's how people can contact you. And all of these come together to make up your whole website on the web. Now, at WP Beginner, we recommend using BlueHost as your hosting provider. They have great customer support. They are one of the oldest, most established hosting companies out there. They're officially recommended by the WordPress.org organization, and WP Beginner users can get 60% off and a free domain by using our discount code. To get that discount, just go to www.wpbeginner.com/refer/BlueHost. Hit enter, and it'll take you to that page. We also have a link below that you can use as well. From here, just click on the big green Get Started button, and it'll take you to the Select Your Plan page. You can choose your plan here. The biggest difference between these two is with this one, it's very basic, and you're only allowed one website. Whereas with this one, if you have web addresses or multiple websites that you want to set up, then this might be the best one for you. After you've chosen which setup you want, go ahead and sign up with a new domain name that you want, since it comes free, and click Next. From here, you want to go ahead and create your account by filling in all of this information. And then down here, you want to verify the package information. I would say that your domain privacy you don't need. We normally just turn that off. Things like backup site and site locker, there are a lot of great plugins and features available within WordPress, so you don't need that either. Once you fill out all the information, you see the amount that's being discounted. Now just fill in your payment information and you'll have your hosting account set up. Now that we've signed up, we'll get a congratulations screen, and we'll just need to click on the next screen where we can create our password. This password will be used to manage our hosting account. Once you create the password, they will start setting up the account for you. One of the great things about BlueHost is now they've made installing WordPress even easier. From here, you can select a theme that you might like to go with your site. Since I'll be walking you through the whole process, let's go ahead and skip this step. And now they automatically set up WordPress for you. You no longer have to go into your BlueHost account and install WordPress and go through that process. Once we get everything set up, you can click Start Building, and we'll be taken to the back end of our WordPress dashboard, where we can start customizing it. Once you log into your dashboard, it might look something like this, where you have a lot of notifications and things like that. What we want to do first is kind of clean everything up. There'll be some plugins that we'll install, but for now, I'll just walk you through how you can remove everything so you can start with a clean slate first. So we'll head over to our plugins area. And when we do that, we can scroll down all the way down till we see all of the plugins, and we can select them all and click deactivate. And you want to click on apply. So we're deactivating all of the plugins first. Then we need to select them all again and then click delete and apply. And go ahead and say yes to we're sure that we want to remove all of those plugins. There will be a few of these that we will reinstall, but I want to show you that process later. So right now we just want to get with a clean slate to start our whole process. And you'll see once they're deleted, you see them going away and you see the whole process being updated in real time. Also, if you see something like a WordPress update, go ahead and click update now. And now you have a screen on your dashboard like this. And now we can move on. Okay, now we can start building it, but really quickly, I want to show you that this is what it looks like in action right now. It's just a simple coming soon page on the front end. But if you notice up here, it says not secure. And that's because we don't have an SSL certificate installed on there. Making sure that your site has an SSL certificate installed and activated does a couple of things. Of course, it is more secure for your readers or the people who come to your website. It's also a slight ranking factor with Google because it tells Google that you are a secure site. In the past, you used to have to pay like $60 to $150 to get a secure certificate installed on your site. But nowadays, companies like Let's Encrypt have made this process super easy with our hosting providers like BlueHost. What you can do is go back into your dashboard, go down to security, and then you can ask for a Let's Encrypt certificate. Might take a little bit of time for them to set that up, but once they do, then we can go in and set it up for ourselves. Once you go there, you can request a certificate and you'll see that it is pending and that they're working on it. As you can see, it can take a little bit of time for them to get that set up. Once that is done and set up, the next thing we can do is go to our WordPress dashboard. You'll want to log in with the credentials that you saved before. From our dashboard, go over to plugins, add new, and we can type in SSL. What we're looking for is this plugin, and it's called Really Simple SSL. What we want to do is we want to install that, and then we also want to activate it. Once we activate it, you can see that it's active in the plugins area, and then we can go to settings to set it up. From here, you see some detections. We can see that it's not enabled, but the SSL certificate is detected on our site. So we can go ahead and activate the SSL. Great. Now that it's activated, you see up here, we have HTTPS and everything is active. And we also have the little padlock connected. So that's a good start. And now we can move on to designing the rest of our site. Okay, now that we have some of the technical aspects out of the way, let's go ahead and start taking a look at our theme. This is the theme by default. I've removed the Coming Soon plugin, and so you can see what our theme looks like out of the box. When WordPress first is installed on your site, it comes with a theme already, and it's usually set up for the year that it's installed. For instance, this is the 2019 theme. And you see it's pretty good. It's nice and clean, but it's a little lacking, and we're going to fix that next. So to show you what theme we have, you can go into Appearance, Themes, and you see by default, this is the current theme. You see it showing right here. And it's the 2019 theme automatically installed by WordPress. When you want to install a new theme for your website, you can simply go click on the Add New, and it will go into the WordPress repository where all the free themes that are vetted and proven to be okay for WordPress are here. But for this video, we're actually going to be using the Astra theme. It's a very specific theme. It is a great theme to allow you to customize your site exactly how you want it to look. We need to install it, and we also need to activate it. So now this is our theme that is on our site, and we'll take a look at it. You see it's still pretty bland, but we're about to fix that. So let's head back over. And with the Astra theme, what they've done now is they've created what's called starter sites. Basically, what used to happen if you had a theme and you wanted to install it on WordPress, you had to go through the documentation and follow along, hope that there's good documentation on how to make your site look like the demo that you saw and that you wanted. And it was a lot of frustration for a lot of people. What Astra has done is they've created these starter sites that make everything look exactly like the demo that you're seeing and the demo site that you want. So to get this going, we need to install a plugin. So let's head over to our plugins area, add new, and let's type in the Astra starter sites. This is the one that we want. So let's go ahead and click install now. And then once it's installed, we also have to make sure that we activate it. And now we see this plugin is active. So now we can click on the ready starter sites here. And from here, we want to select the page builder. In this video, we'll be using the Beaver Builder, and that is a light page builder. There's also a pro version, but for this, I'll show you how to work with the light page builder. So we'll click Beaver Builder, and then let's click Next. And now here are all of the starter sites that we can choose from to install on our site. And when you see agency, that's for a premium version, but we can click on the free version and you'll see even with the free version, we still have like 35 sites that we can choose from. So you want to just take a minute to go through and see which one of these starter sites do you want to choose to start with? Like, what is it that you're ultimately building? What type of blog are you building? What type of website are you building? Is this for a business? Is this for fitness? Is this for outdoors? Do you have a product that you're wanting to sell? Just go through there and figure out which one you want to do. And even if you hover over it, it actually also will show you what the home page will look like. And it kind of scrolls down for you so you can see it all. Now, I've been talking a lot about gardens, so I can look at this one, and I think I'm going to use the garden maintenance for this theme. So I want to take a look and preview it, see it in action. And you see it showing up on my site, and it gives me a good idea of what this will look like. This is the one I want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and click Import Site. Now, before I do, you want to see that these are all the check marks that it's doing, and it's letting you know what all is happening. And now you can click on the little question mark here, and it will tell you everything that it's installing when it imports all this stuff. You see that it's going to also install some Astra widgets, the Beaver Builder plugin Lite version. We will get the ultimate add-ons for Beaver Builder Lite. And then it's also going to install the WPForms Lite plugin, which is a contact form plugin. And that is also our sister site. And it's a really great drag and drop contact form plugin. Aside from that, it'll also import some customizer settings. And then it will also import some content to make the site look exactly how the demo looks. So we're okay with all of that. Once we review everything, let's go ahead and click Import Site. And you see it can take anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes for this setup. What I'm going to do is go ahead and speed this up so that you're not having to wait around for this. Okay, in real time, that took a little bit longer than a minute to import all of those plugins and all those settings. So it was really super fast. And now we see that the site is done and we can take a look at it. So opening it up in a new tab, we see this is what our site looks like. And I do notice that some of the pages are double, but I'll take care of that later. It's probably just some glitch. But scrolling through and looking at all of this, it looks really good. All you really need to do is add your actual content, put in your information, and your site is pretty much good to go. That is way faster than what it usually takes for WordPress sites to get going. So now that we see what this looks like, let me walk you through how you can make some changes to your site. One of the first things we want to do is going up at the top, you see we have our logo, the blog title, and things like that. We can customize that by clicking on the Customize button from here, and it'll open up this customizer area. And now you'll see these little pencil areas, and these are the things that we can change. So if I click on this, you can see I can change my logo here if I want. I can also remove it. Clicking on these other items, this will change my site title. And so let me change that to something that is more about my blog. I'll call it my garden blog. And we can decide if we want to display that here or not. The same thing with the tagline. That's simply what your site is about. So you can update that here as well. And then we can choose to display the site tagline if you want or not. And then when you do the inline logo, that will either put it underneath the logo or inline with it. We'll keep it inline for now. Now, the little site icon, that's this little guy up here, and we want to make that change here. By default, you'll typically want to have something by 512 by 512. Their ultimate goal is to have a good, clear logo to work with, and you want it square if you can. But we're going to select this one, and you see if it's not square, it'll let you crop it, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'll crop the image, and now it's automatically placed up there. So that looks pretty good. We can click the publish area. Okay, now you see that there are some duplicates that usually shouldn't happen. In this case it did, but that's okay. We can just go in and I'll remove those extra pages. So I'm going to go back to the site. I'm going to go to pages and I'll remove the duplicates here. Select all the duplicates and go up to the top and move to trash. Then I'll also want to make sure I go into the trash area, select them all again, and I want to delete them permanently. It's a two-part process. In case you delete something that you don't want to delete, then you can go back in and get it back, but we'll keep that deleted. And now it looks pretty good. I'm in the customizer area, so we can do some more customizations. You'll also see over here, there are other pencil areas, and this will let you change up some of these items. For instance, we can change the menu area here. We can edit the menu and we can choose which ones we want on there. We can also add an item. Since this is a blog, I want to add a page, and right here it'll allow me add a blog, and it'll create that page on the fly and add that to my menu. You see that that is my primary menu. If you wanted to, you could also add another footer menu, and that would go at the bottom. But for now, we'll just keep it like this. Now let me click on this area, and this will change my header layout. You see that these are the different layouts I can have to choose from. If I click on them, then it will center my logo, or it will put it to the right. For this one, I just want to keep it. You can also disable the menu altogether, but then people won't know how to get to you, so let's not do that. And for this one, I want to keep it on the left. You see here, we can choose what the last item is, and this could be changed to having nothing, having it a search button, or having an actual button. This is great if you have a website that you want to get a quote for, that you could send them to a quote form if you wanted. You could also do something like asking them to sign up for a newsletter or something like that. For the button link, that's where you would send them to an actual web address, and you'd have to know what that web address is. For this, I'm just going to send them to our contact page. So let me open that up so I can grab the URL, and I will come back here and paste that URL here. Now, yeah, you can also just send them to the contact page, but this is just to show you what you can do with this. And from here, you can choose what type of button to do. You can even customize it if you want. For this, we'll just keep the theme button. And right here, you can choose the color and the layout of what you want your theme to look like. So you could play with that here. And if you don't like any of the colors that you choose, you can just hit clear and it will go back to the default color. There are a lot of settings that you can choose from hover of the text and also the hover of the background color. So when you mouse over, your button changes colors like you see here. Right here, you can also choose the radius. So right now it's pretty square, but we can change the button radius and you can see it starts to round off. When I put 10 in there, it's really rounded off. So you can adjust that as you want. You can also see the padding. That's how much space on top or bottom that you want to have your button have. And the same thing for the horizontal. If we make it really big, then it will be a really wide button, but then that will cause some problems. So we'll put it back down. So we're pretty happy with that button. We'll go ahead and click publish, and then we can go back and a few other things that we can look at. Let's go ahead and look at typography, and let's look at the primary header typography. That's for my title. And you see when I change the font size, it gets really big. So if you want that to be a little bit bigger, you can adjust that here. Same with the site tagline. If you want to make that a little bit bigger, you can do that here. Going back, we can look at the base typography. That's basically for everything else on the site. And you see for this one, it's the body and content. We can change the font here to any of these. There are several to choose from. And you can just play with the fonts to see which one fits your brand for your site. If you also know which one it is that you want, you can type that in here to show you what Lotto looks like. Let me just do that. And that's pretty good. The font variant is for things like italics. Same thing with the font size. That's just how big the text of the body will be. And before it used to be like 12 back in the day. That's become really difficult to read, especially on the larger screens. So the typical variation is between 16 and 20. And then you also see the line height. That's how much white space is between your words. If you do anything that you don't like, you can simply click on the little undo and it will revert back to what the default settings are. So all that looks pretty good, and that's for the body and content area. Now you can also make changes to your headings area, and that are these larger headings on your site. You want to choose the fonts that you want for that. For this one, I will show you what Open Sans looks like, and that changes down here. Again, you can also give the font variant if you want, and for this one, it's semi-bold. This is also where you can choose the text transform. If you want everything in uppercase, or if you want it lowercase, or capitalized, you can do that here. We'll just leave that all uppercase for this. And that all looks good. So we'll head back, and you just want to do the same thing for pretty much all of your content. Go in and change it all out so it looks exactly how you want it to look. Now that we're done with typography, then we can also look at publishing this, and then let's make some changes to the actual web page so I can show you how Beaver Builder works. From here, I'm logged into the website, but I'm on the front of the website, so you see the toolbar at the top. So let's click on Beaver Builder here, and you can get a walkthrough to go through the whole process. Since I'll be showing you how this is done, I'm going to click No Thanks. And from here, you can just start to make the changes that you want. For instance, I want to change this whole area out where it's talking about it's time for you to have the garden of your dreams. You can highlight this area and then just start typing in what you want it to say. And then scrolling down, I can also change the description area here. And once I start typing it in, it starts to fill in the information. And you see I can change the alignment here, but we want to keep the alignment centered. So I'll do that. And that looks pretty good. Under the separator, you can choose if you want to have a separator in between, like you see here. You can change the style and where you want to put the separator. You can also choose the dash or a different color. Just pick it from the color wheel like this. But we'll choose none. So, and then under typography, this is where you can change a little bit of the font. You can also change things like the line height and the style and spacing. This is also where the uppercase is, and you can change it here to be normal or in uppercase or lowercase. Under advanced, you can also do some things like animation, where you can make it slide in from, say, the left, like you see there. Here, I don't want to have this, so I can just click on that and just X out of that, so I can remove that. And you see, once you hover over any of these things, this is where you can make the changes. For instance, right here, this is the big background image, and I can choose to work with this image from here. Scrolling down for the background photo, I can choose to edit this, and I can also remove that here. If I want to edit this, these are all the photos that came in with the starter site. So I could just go scroll through and find one that I would prefer. And that's an image that I like a little bit better. So maybe we can use that one instead. And scrolling down, you can make other changes. You see when I scroll, it stays put. That is called fixed. And so for attachment, you can also choose to allow it to scroll. And that way it will scroll when the web page scrolls as well, like you see that. But for this one, I think we like it in a fixed setting. So we'll put fixed. So looking at the overlay, you see we also have a black overlay when you're scrolling down, and that's that black area. We can change this here, and you could change it to a different color if you want. And so when they're scrolling, then that would change that as well. We can also choose to just have a color. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks, and we'll click save. And now you see kind of the differences. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way down because there's a button down here that I want to work on. This is the one I want to do. So let's click on it. Once you click on it, you have the style area that we can look at. And now I want to look at the background color. So I can change the background color to what looks better for the site. The blue is okay, but we'll do something like a green that goes with the garden site. That's not bad. And if you look down here, you can also do the structure of it. You can cause it to do full width, or you can do a custom length if you want, but we'll just go with auto, and that just basically goes by the default. And here again, you can choose the rounded corners that you want. I'm going to give it a 10 to show you how it looks with a 10, and let's do a little bit less. Let's do more like a 6. The next thing we want to do is let's go ahead and take a look at the link. Here's the section for the link. And what you can do is you can either type in the URL, or over here, you can hit select. And once you start typing in a page or a post that you have on your site, like projects, you can see that that pulls up, and then it brings in our URL for our site for the page projects. We can choose to open it in a new window or do no follow. So let's make sure we click save changes. And now I like the style of this button. So what I want to do is come over here and duplicate it. Now I have a duplicate button. So I'm going to drag it up to a different area on the site where I want it to go. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to remove this old read more area, and then we'll make this one the new button. What I need to do here is change the link for this and change the text of it. So I'm going to change that to say read more, and then I'm going to change the select for the link, and we'll have it go to our blog. Great. And then we'll change that and we'll save it. So now that looks pretty good there. What you can also do, actually that goes to our about page. So I'll change that to our about page. So all of that looks pretty good. Scrolling up, and you see, I actually still want to change these buttons here. Yeah, these buttons need to be changed out. So we can do the same thing, grab this button, and we will copy it. We'll make a duplicate. And then I can drag this up there at the top and drag it up above here so I can replace this button. So now I just need to hover over that and remove this button. And now I can do the same thing for these others as well. So I need to duplicate it and move that over. And then I'll just move it over here, remove that button because I don't want it anymore. And then I'll do it one more time. And then I can change it over here and then get rid of that. Now, I like the look of this, but there's a little bit of space, extra space that I don't really like here. And let me show you how you can change the margins for that. It's basically held by the margins. So we'll click on it. Let's go to advanced. And you see the margins on the top of this are at 50. Let's try something like 30. And I like the feel of that a little bit better. So the margins is the space around the button. So I can just do the same thing with the others. And what I could have done is change the spacing on that one before I duplicated. But this gives you a good idea of the power of how you can make all of these changes to get your site to look exactly how you want it to look. Once we're done with that, we can save our changes. The next thing I want to do is let's take a look at our menu area. You see up here, we have all of these services and all of these pages that we're showcasing in our blog is actually not in uppercase, whereas all the others are. So there's a little bit of work that we need to do with that, and we can do that next. So to work with menus, we will go to the back end of our website. From the dashboard, you can go to Appearance, and you can go to Menus. You can also get to this from Customize, but I like this one. And let me clear out this. You see, these are all of the pages that are on my menu. And there's some that I don't want, like projects. My site is mostly going to be about blogs, so I'm going to actually remove projects and services. And then I want to left click and drag and rearrange some of these other pages. And then finally, you see that my blog is in lowercase. So to get it looking like the others, I'm going to put it all in uppercase letters. So I'm going to do that here. And now it's a smaller menu section and it feels a lot better for what my site is about. You could keep those if you're a small business, that would work perfectly for you. And if we go to manage locations, this is where the main menu is. You could also set up a footer menu and that would go at the bottom of the site just to show you some of the power that you have with this. So that looks pretty good. And we can go and visit our site and see what it looks like. And now it's a much cleaner setup. Now let's click on the Contact Us page because we have this form on here and I want to set it up and I want to clear up some of this other stuff to make it look better for my site. So let me show you how you can set up a Contact Us page. And this is using WPForms Lite that was installed when Astra installed its starter sites. So to do that, let's head back over to our WordPress dashboard. We need to go to WPForms and let's go to All Forms. From here, you can see the form that it was already set up for us. It's called Contact Us. So we can edit this to make it look exactly how we want it to look. So this is the WPForms area, and this is the form, and these are all the fields that we have. We can remove them by just clicking on the little trash button. And you see here, we can click on the Your Name area, and you can either make it first and last, or you can make it simple. I prefer simple, so we'll keep it like that. Basically, it's a very simple form. You see in parentheses it's required, but we can actually click on the required button to make sure that they don't fill this out without filling out this information. So I'm going to do that for all of these fields. You see here, we can actually enable email confirmation, and that just means they need to fill out their email twice to make sure that they fill it out correctly. So we can set that up. And then finally, we'll make your message required as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we need to go over to settings because we need to make sure that the notifications are set up properly. First, under general, we can change the form name if we want. And that's just for our internal information. You could also change what the send button says here and what it says when it is in the process of sending. You can change all of that there. I would recommend keeping the anti-spam honeypot, and that just keeps spammers from spamming your site. Now going over to notifications, this is the notification that you'll get, and it's pulling in the email address from your website admin email. You can keep that here, or you can hard code your own email here as well. When you get your email, this is what it will say. So if you want, you can change it and maybe add the website name here as well. And then these fields will come from the actual form. So we want to keep those like that is. You could add a notification, something that is perfect for if you have a business website. You could add multiple notifications so that like the sales team will get it and IT will get it or something like that if you wanted to. Now let's go to confirmation. This is what the user will see when they submit the email, and it's a simple message that will pop up on the screen. If you want, you could also change it and maybe send them to a different URL or say a thank you page. You could set up a thank you page here if you wanted. For this setup, I'll simply keep it as a message page and I'll just send them this message. And that all looks good. So let's go ahead and save this. And now we need to get out of this and we need to head over to our contact page to change that up a little bit. And since we're using Beaver Builder, we want to launch the Beaver Builder plugin. And see when I click on that, that's the shortcode that the WPForms comes over as. But I don't really want this stuff over here because I'm not a business. If you are a business, then this would work perfectly for you. so we can remove some of these items. So now once I've removed everything, now I basically have just one big column. And then I'll also remove this map area down here since I don't want to showcase my location. So now it's a much cleaner contact page, and you could add a little bit more up here talking about the blog, change this out to something that's more pertinent to our website. And then this kind of feels really long, and I kind of want to make this a little bit better for the user to fill this out, so not make it so big. So I'm going to change the margins of this. So you can do that with the margins, and I'll just fill out the left and right margins. Now you can just clean it up a little bit more, see how it all looks. That looks pretty good. And we'll be done with this. So let's click done and publish. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is the blog page. Basically, I want all of my posts to come onto this blog post, and we need to set this up. To do that, we'll go to Customize, and there's an area that we need to fix. So once we go to Customize, we want to scroll all the way down to Home Page Settings, and we have the home page is the home page, and now we need to select the page where all the posts go. So I'll hit Blog. And so once I have posts, all of those will show up here, and we're good with that. The other thing we want to do is we want to work with the widgets. The blog page has sidebar, and these are all the widgets that are currently on the sidebar. There's some that I don't want, so I'm going to expand these widget areas, and I'll just remove the ones that I don't want here. And now we're set with those three, and I'm okay with that. So now we can click publish, and that should look good to go. Now I'll just show you real quickly. I'm going to go out and create a couple of blog posts so that you can see what this blog page will look like now. And I'll speed that up so you can see it. Okay, this is what it looks like with blog posts on the page, and I like the look of that. Over on the right, you also see the widgets that are there. You've got my search, categories, and my recent posts. And then I can click on the actual post here, and this looks okay. But you see up here in the web address, I have my web address set up, and this is the Permalinks, and it's currently set up to show the month, day, and year. So I don't like that, and I'm going to go in and change that. To do that, let's go over to our dashboard. We need to go down to Settings, and we're looking for Permalinks. And you see it's currently set up for day and name. And what I like to do is make it much simpler. And I usually just do the post name. And that's just going to be the title of the article or the title of the blog post to show. And that's how I like to set them up. It's much simpler, and it's easier for Google, and shorter URLs are a little bit better for SEO. So let's click Save Changes. And now when I go to a blog post, you see it's a much simpler URL structure, and I like that much better. The next thing I want to look at is let's go ahead and take a look at our logo. I'll go into the Customize area, and if you remember, we could click on this little pencil area to take a look at the logo. Okay, here is your logo, and if you want to change out the logo, you can click on it, and you see when you just click Change Logo, you could either choose an image that's already on your site, and you see the suggested dimensions here. But I want to show you how you can create a logo pretty quickly just by using a free tool. There are several free logo maker services and sites out there. I'm going to show you how you can do it with something called Canva. Canva is a real easy way to create images for your site, and also create a lot of images for things like Facebook and Pinterest, Instagram. It works for all of that. So let's head over to Canva. You'll want to create an account for that, but it is free. Once you log in, you can scroll down and choose the logos area. And then you can see all of these logos designs or logo templates that you can choose from. Just go through and pick one that you like the look of, and then you can customize it from there. You can click on them to see what they'll look like over on the right. If there's a certain type of logo, like I put in garden, you can see something like this here. So I'm going to use this one as my starter point, and I'm going to make some changes here and change the fonts. There are a ton of fonts to choose from, as you see up here. Just change the fonts, and then you can just find one that's best for your brand. We'll also change the name to go with my garden blog. You can see I can change the style. I can change the size of it. That's a pretty good size. I like that. And I can even change the color here. You can choose from default colors here, or you could also click on the plus area to use a specific color here. That looks pretty good. And I'm not really happy with this font, so I'm going to change it to Lotto Bold. That looks better. And then this icon up here that came with this template logo, but we can get rid of that. And if you want, you can go to Elements. And from here, there are a ton of icons that you can choose from. There are several that are free, and then there are also some that are premium. And then you can also just search for an icon that you're looking for. And you see here are some to work with. I'm going to pick something simple like that. And that's a little too big. So we're going to bring it down. And then I just want to decide how I want it. Do I want it below? Do I want it on top? I think I kind of want it. That would be a little bit too big. I think I kind of want to move my name over and make it to the left. And just keep playing with it until it looks reasonable. That's not bad. Now I want to center this whole thing. To do that easily, what you can do is select the whole thing. So I'm just left click and dragging to select both items on here. And then we can go up and group them. And then that way when I move them around, they are grouped together. And then you see I can move them around so it's centered. Now that's not bad for a real quick and easy way to do that. So we can go over here and click download. PNG is suggested. You also would want to do transparent. A transparent background means that it would take on the color, whatever color you have. You would have to do the pro version to do that. So we'll just download it and do the PNG version. And then we'll just have a white background with this. So I want to download this to my desktop, and we want to give it a decent name. And that was a real quick way to do a logo. So now we just need to go to our customize area, change the logo, and we'll go to upload file, and you can just drag that photo up there. We can select that. From here, we could do a little bit of cropping, and that's what we did. And we can remove this different logo for a Retina device. And now that's my new logo. And we can choose the width of it and make it just perfect for what we want. And now since I have the name in my logo, I'm going to remove the title, but I'm going to go ahead and keep the tagline. And then from here, you can kind of play with it to see how it looks. I don't really like how the tagline looks underneath it. So it looks like I didn't crop enough when I first uploaded it, and that's okay. I'm just going to quickly make a change on this. When I select the logo and hit select, then I can crop it again. So I'm going to actually go in and crop it a lot more. Bring the top down, bring the bottoms down. I'm going to bring in the right and left as well. So make it much more compact. Yeah, and I like that a little bit better. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's a super fast way to get a really quick logo on your site. No problem. So we're going to go ahead and publish that. And now I'm going to look at it on our site. You see there's a little bit more issues with the tagline, but that's okay. If you wanted to, you could play with that a little bit more to get it exactly how you want that. But that looks really good. Awesome. We have our site set up however we want. Now the next step we need to do is let's go ahead and install MemberPress plugin and set up our membership area. You can check out our top 5 membership plugins article if you want to look at different ones, but the one that we're recommending is MemberPress. It simply knows all the things that you need to do to set up a membership site. So head over to MemberPress and go ahead and look at the one that would work best for you. I know a lot of people try and get by with not paying for anything, but this is actually a really crucial part. You're adding payment methods to your site. You're adding high value quality items to your site where you just don't want people to be able to break into it. And with payment methods, you want to make sure that that's done correctly. So that's one of the main reasons why we recommend purchasing something like MemberPress, where they're doing all of the work for you to make sure that everything works right. And then when you purchase it, you have yearly access to their support team, which is great. So once you get all of that, let's head back over to our WordPress dashboard. We've installed plugins before, so you should be comfortable with doing that, but we're going to go over to plugins, add new, because we need to upload this plugin. Since we've already downloaded it from our account, let's go to Upload Plugin, and you want to upload that. You see it here. So now we can click Install Now. Once it's installed, you also want to make sure that you activate it, and then we'll also need to add a license key. So let's click Activate Plugin. And you see it's asking for a license key. You should get that from your member area. So let's go to Activation Page so that we can add that. Right click and paste my license key in there, and then we can activate it. Okay, you should see something that it's been activated, and then we can go to our options page to get everything set up. So let's click on options page here. Okay, now we're under MemberPress options, and we can set everything up. You see they also have a great user manual area here to get you started, so you can go through all the configurations as well. But I'm going to help you with this as well. So what you need to do is reserve different pages for MemberPress. These are pages that only MemberPress will be using. So we need to create a thank you page, we need to create an account page, and we need to create a specific login page. I don't have those yet, so let's go ahead and do that. You probably won't either. So I'm going to open up my pages, right click and open it in a new tab. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm in pages. Let's go ahead and click add new, and let's just quickly set them up. We needed a thank you page, and I'm going to publish that. What else did we need? We need an account page and a login page. So let's go ahead and create those as well. I'm going to click add new account. I want to publish that as well. And then we want to do a login page. Okay. And we'll go back here. Let me refresh so that we'll go out and grab them. So now I can give them a thank you page, an account page, and a login. Now you'll want to go ahead and keep these page slugs here the same. That's basically this area up here. It's part of the URL structure that MemberPress wants us to keep. So I'm going to leave it like that. If someone comes to a part of your website and they're not authorized, you can either redirect them to a specific URL, maybe the area asking them, maybe your pricing page area. You could do that. I'm going to leave this unchecked. And what it will do is it'll still show them that they are unauthorized to see these pages. And then I like that they have a show login form containing unauthorized content. A lot of times people will simply forget to log in, or they've been logged out for some reason. So when they go to those pages, there's a nice prompt that'll let them log in right there. And then down here, you can see what the default unauthorized area is. You can fill this in and add more information if you want, but this is the default message. So you can change that here. So we're done with this page. Let's go ahead and click Update Options. And then the next area we want to do is you want to set up payments. That's one of the biggest reasons why we have this going on, right? So you can click on Add a Payment. By default, all three basic levels for MemberPress come with Standard PayPal, Express Checkout PayPal, and Stripe. And then the higher end tier also comes with Authorize.net. If you already have a merchant account through Authorize.net, it might be worth it for you. Otherwise, I would go ahead and just set up your PayPal methods. And obviously, you could also do offline payment if you're doing a membership site, say in your area, and you actually see people and you actually want to get a check from them or cash, then you can do that as well. But we can go ahead and set up standard, and you want to say PayPal. And you can show the icon and the description and all of that. You want to add your primary PayPal email here. And then if you're still just playing with it all, you can say to use the PayPal sandbox. You'll still want to add sandbox in the PayPal side. Otherwise, just leave it blank. These are the IPNs that you'll want to add. You need to have this in your account on PayPal for this to work. So once you set up your PayPal account, you're ready to start taking payments. You can also set up something like Stripe if you have a Stripe account, and that will allow you to take credit cards as well. So we're just going to remove that, and we'll say update options. So now we have a payment feature set up. And those are the two main things. We're going to go over a little bit of some of these other tabs just to let you know that some of these default settings are really, really great. For instance, they'll disable the WordPress admin area. For example, when people are logged in to your site, they won't see this admin bar up here, which is great. It gets confusing for some people. You also want to allow members to cancel their own subscriptions. Otherwise, it's going to have to all go through you. So they recommend doing that. You can also keep members out of the WordPress dashboard. They won't see all of this anyway, but if they went to log into the dashboard area, they would see some stuff. So this kind of keeps it out of there. And then you can do the registration area, choose how you want all of this to be set up for registration. You can also do a forcing login and log out if you want. So like when people log in, do you want to send them to a particular page? A lot of people might send them to their account page. So you could do that. Usually when you go and log into certain places like WPForms or Monster Insights, as soon as you log in, it takes us to our dashboard, right? So that's the same thing here. Same thing when people log out, then they'll go to a particular page. That might be good to just take them to our home page. And then this is just a little area that once they log in, this will be at the top. So you can give like account messages or messages in the account area. You can change this however you want. So let's go ahead and update those options. And fields, these are extra fields that you can add in addition to the name and address field that you're already going to get from users. This is just if you want something like, if you want to get their phone number or their fax number, you could add that there. We've done payments, and under emails, these are all of the member notices that can be sent out on your behalf. So basically, when they first sign up, you can send them a welcome email. You can do a receipt notice of payment. If they're doing a cancel their subscription, then they can get that. I like it when there's a failed transaction. They'll get that there's a failed transaction that'll allow you to try and recoup their money to get them to try again. Also, if their credit card on file is expiring soon, this is if you have Stripe set up, then it'll send them a notice so that they can update their credit card so that you don't get a failed transaction. So you can turn these on or off for this whole process. You can also go in and edit these. So you can open that up, and this is great because it's pulling a lot. Any of these curly brackets you'll want to be careful with. Kind of keep all of those how they are, because it'll be pulling stuff in from the database. But other than that, you can add your own information, even add images if you want, hyperlinks if you want, and just make it a little bit more personalized if you would like. And then under admin email notices, these are the emails and notices that you'll receive as the admin, and they'll go to your account. So go to update options. And now under marketing, there are several ways that you can enable integration into your email service provider like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign and things like that, or GetDrip. There are a lot of integrations that you can do here. Under info, this is all of your information. So you'll want to fill all of this out so that they know that you're an actual person or a business. Under general, this is just some of the default things that you'll want to showcase in your membership area. By default, your language code and what kind of currency, the symbols that you want to showcase. You need to do a before after. The paywall and SEO, you'll want to keep this unchecked because when things are behind the paywall and you're not allowing everybody have access to it, you don't want Google to index or show these search results in their listings. So you'll want to keep that off. And you could even go as far as to block the search engines. You don't really have to do that. If you want to enable the free paywall, then that's something like you see a lot of news sites doing this, where they'll allow 1 to 5 free articles a month. And then after that, they'll need to sign up. So you could do something like that. Most all of these items, you'll want to just leave the default settings that they have here. And then taxes, they have this set up where you can do taxes. I would talk with your CPA to decide if you want to allow that or set that up here, or if you just want to do that elsewhere. So we can update all options. And now that we have our pages and our payments, the two really important things, then we need to go ahead and set up our actual memberships. Hopefully you've come up with an idea of how you want the memberships to go. Do you want to do just one membership for everyone, or do you want to have like a tiered membership of like a gold, silver, and platinum, where they get varied levels of access to you, you could set that up. I think when you're first starting out, your best bet is to probably just do one membership, and that way you can get kind of a handle on how this all works. And then from there, maybe see what are your members asking for. A lot of times your members will tell you what they're wanting. Just like when you have a membership site, a lot of people will set up a membership site first and then they'll do a course later because they're going to find out real quick from the members what type of courses they want. And the same goes with memberships as well. You'll find out real quickly what type of access do your members want from you. But I would say just in the beginning, just set up one membership area and then keep it simple in the beginning and then kind of grow with that. Throughout this series, I've created a gardening blog. So we're going to create the ultimate gardeners membership. And then we can give it all the information that we want. And once you give it a nice description, over to the right, you see the membership terms and you can choose the pricing here. You can also choose the billing type. So let's say we want to do, I don't know, we're going to do like a $99 price and we're going to have it do recurring. You can choose the interval here. So you could do monthly, yearly, quarterly, or choose your own custom. Let's go ahead and make this a $99 recurring yearly plan. And we want to give them a 7-day trial period and we're going to keep it at 0. You can also make this a monetary trial period, which is great. And then this is great for people who just want to keep adding trials, but only allow one trial. So that's perfect. And then scrolling down the membership options, we can do this as well. From here, we can send them a custom thank you page, and that would be here. Otherwise, it will send them the thank you email that we set up earlier. You can also do a member-specific email here, and you can also customize the payments. So if you only want to do PayPal for this one, or if you have Stripe, if you only want to allow Stripe, otherwise it will bring in the default ones. And then if we had set up any of those extra fields earlier, like a phone number or what have you, then we could pull those in here. But pretty much those are all good. The permissions, we can choose who all can purchase this item. We don't want to set up any permissions on this. And then with the price box, you can choose what kind of price box you want to show. And then you can show custom or auto. We want to bring in what the actual price is. And then you could do a heading text, add all the benefits that they're going to get for this, for signing up. You can click on the plus button. Really tell them everything that they're getting. You see it's coming over here too. And then you can choose where to put the button, header, footer, or both. If this turns out to be a really long item, then you might want to choose both. And then under advanced, you can give them membership access URL here or custom login redirects. Again, you'll want to kind of keep everything as simple as possible in the beginning. So once we're done with all of that, we can click publish. Great. And now we've created a membership site. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and restrict access. To do that, we'll need to set up rules. So let's go over to our rules section and we'll add a new rule. This is a really in-depth area where you can choose everything that you want to protect. So when I click on this, you can either choose to protect absolutely all content. So you're only a membership site, like everything that you have on your site is protected. A lot of times I think people, they tend to showcase a lot of free information and then they'll gate or they'll put, even the more premium stuff behind an area, and that might be what you'll want to do. So you can do by category, and so you'll create a category. You'll want to create a specific category, maybe everything that you write or everything that you create, you give it a category of membership, and then that way only those items will be behind this paywall. And that's an easy way to do it. But then you could also, and this is red just because I don't have membership category actually created yet. So you'll also want to create that. You could also do for all content tagged. So if you don't want to deal with categories, but you want to deal with tagged items, same thing. You could even do child pages of a parent page. So if I have gardening page, then some of the child pages of that gardening page can do that. I think our best bet is just to stick with anything that's under the membership category will get protected. And then we can choose the membership type, how to grant access to the protected content. So if they match the membership level of Ultimate Gardener's membership, then that's how they'll get it. Down here, you can also decide if you want to enable drip. A lot of times memberships, they'll create a membership site. People go in, they'll like download all the information, read all the stuff, and then they'll cancel that first week. If you're worried about that happening, then you can enable drip, and then it'll allow them to get certain information over the next few days or the next few weeks. You can also enable expiration. If you only want them to, say you're going through an intense group challenge or something like that, and you want everybody to have access to a very limited time, then you can expire these items as well. Under unauthorized, then this will just say how it's going to handle people who are unauthorized. Under the global setting, we already have that unauthorized area and then gives them a link to the login. But if you wanted something different, then you could do that here. We're going to stick with the global area. And let me just real quick go under post. Let me open categories on a new page. And I'm going to create the membership category just so that that will work. So I'm going to refresh. And I want to, great. I want to protect the content, any content that's shown as membership. And go back to allow anybody who is the Ultimate Gardener's member can have access to that. So let's save that rule. And now we have a rule. Okay, now you just need to start creating some of the content. So I'm going to go into my posts area. I have a couple of posts here. You see we it shows access, what everybody has access to based on everything that we've set up. So, we did an extra thing for containers for plants. So I want to go in and edit this. I want to make this access only for my members. So one of the things I'm going to do is go under categories and I'm going to make it membership. And I want to update that. So now when I go to my all posts, you see who all has access to this. So this is a really great way to see who all has access to what and what all do I need to hide behind my membership area. And also how much more content do I need to put out for the members to make it worth their while. This is a great way to do that. So keep doing that. Add more content that's beneficial to people. And once you have a nice set of content available for your members, let's go ahead and also set up a pricing page so that people can view it and see it. So let's go to MemberPress and we want to create a group. And a group is just kind of it combines, like if we have multiple memberships, then we can put multiple memberships in this group and at a pricing level. Set this up for pricing. Under group options, this is the membership area by default. If we had more, then they would show up here as well. And then you could also do like an upgrade path. So if you have a lower tiered membership plan and they want to go up to the higher tiered plan, then you could give them an upgrade path to do that. Since we don't have that, we're not going to set that up. Then the same thing with a downgrade path. If they're up at a higher one, instead of them canceling altogether, maybe you can give them a downgrade path to where they're paying something less a year but then they have more limited access to resources. Again, it's very powerful and it can be set up however you want it to be. So with this is the pricing area. This is how it will show. We're going to leave that here just to make it easy. And then let's go ahead and publish this. And then we can see what this looks like. Great. And then you want to play with some of the features here or play with some of the CSS and make it look like how you want it to look for this pricing page. But this is a great setup beginning where they can sign up for your membership site. And then kind of the cool thing is if you did have multiple memberships, then it would show like the 3 columns for them to choose from. And then obviously usually they would pick the middle one because marketing works like that. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and create a sign up and a user login form. So we'll do that next. The easiest way to set that up is to do a widget. So let's scroll down to appearance, widgets area. And then on our main sidebar area, we can add the MemberPress login area. I'm going to left click and drag this up. And now I'll show that. And let's click save. And then the other thing we want to do is let's go ahead and go to our menus area so we can add that pricing page to our menu. So scrolling down, I want to go to groups and we have that one group here. So I'm going to click on that, click add to menu, and it says pricing. Now all of these are in capital letters. So I'm going to go ahead and change that here just so it looks the same. You don't have to do that for yours. I just want it to look uniform. So now we can click Save Menu. And now I can go to my website and you see I have my pricing page up here. So then people can see the different memberships that we have. And then we also have our login area. See, I'm logged in, so I'm good to go here. But if I wasn't, then there would be a login area for me. And that just makes it easier for people to log in and get back to the membership area. Okay, so that's the majority of it. Let's go to the reports area. And this will be great once you're building and growing your business, your membership part of your business. What MemberPress does is they have a great report that will show you all of your members, all your active members, where all are they going, your pending or failed accounts and things like that. And then you can also do like a lifetime value of your customer. So it's a really great way to keep track of all of your members and where they're at and how they're doing. And then one more really cool thing, if you watched the video before where we set up affiliate marketing, we also set up Monster Insights, where it really helps you see how your traffic is doing using Google Analytics, but it brings all the information here. Let me go down here real quick where I go to Insights and Reports. This is my traffic for my website, and that's great. Once we have MemberPress installed, Monster Insights and MemberPress work really well together, where then you can also see enhanced e-commerce tracking for MemberPress, and that just gives you a little bit better indication of like the lifetime value of how your members are doing and how everything is working on your site. So we'll want to install and then activate the e-commerce tracking feature. Once we install that, you also want to use an enhanced e-commerce, and MemberPress has been detected, so it's automatically being tracked for you, which is great. So then when you go to reports, you're not going to see much now, but once you do, then you should start to see conversion rates, your revenue, your average order value, all of these awesome things to help you see how is your membership site growing, how is it doing, and then how you can improve. Congratulations. How does that feel? Go ahead and get your to-do list and check off the setting up a membership site because you did it. Now all you have to do is continue to make the great content that you're doing. And like I said before, a lot of times people, the next thing that they'll do is they'll add a course to their website. And that's what we'll do next. Usually it's the members that are telling you what they want to know next. And so it's great that you set up your membership site first so that you find out what these members are wanting from you. And then your next step, the natural progression in making more money with your website, is to create the course that they're asking for. So in the next video, I'll show you how to set up and create courses on your website. So make sure that you click on the subscription below and go ahead and click on the notification bell so you'll know exactly when this comes out. And thank you for watching.